to our Wednesday time. You have something for me, Pastor Sam?
Oh, I didn't ring the bell.
It's time for us to get started. I got my glasses and my tank top and my shorts on. I'm ready to go play in the snow.
Sun, no snow.
No snow?
Sun.
Oh, I'm ready to go play in the sun. Let's stand up together. Let's go play in the sun together. Are we ready, friends? Here we go.
it one more time.
Oh, one more time. On your marks. 1, 2, 3. Youth on the march. Oh, that was much better. Nicely done, friends. Good job. Oh, what's next? Oh, my cubbies! Stand up tall! Here we go, cubbies!
We are Awana cubbies, happy all day long. We know that Jesus loves us, that's why we sing this song. We hop because we're happy and we jump and shout for joy.
1, 2, 3.
For Jesus is a friend to us, he loves each girl and boy.
Woo! Yay, cubbies! Good job. Uh-oh, I see red on the screen. Uh-oh, who do you think it is? It's my Sparkies! Stand up tall! Here we go!
Sparks! Sparks! What? Sparks, 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 sparks! We are sparks for Jesus. Sparks to light the world. We will shine for Jesus. And we touch boy and girl. We will hide God's word in our hearts. We will serve Him right from the start. From His love we never have. We are sparks, 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 sparks to light the world.
Sparks! Woo!
Sparks! Sparks!
Sparks, 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 sparks! Woohoo! Who are we? Sparks! Who for? Jesus! What to do? Love the world! Good job, Sparkies! Very good! Oh, here comes one of my favorites. I hope you got your dancing feet on. Here we go.
I can see the clouds rolling. I can feel the winds, they try to shake me. I will not be moved. My feet are on the rock. I can feel the waters rise. I can hear the howling flies that haunt me. Fear won't hold me
into that time where we get to say some prayers. So if we have any special prayers that we need for today, that we would like for us to pray about, go ahead and type them in for us so that we can talk about them together as a group, okay? It can be anything, wiggly teeth, upcoming birthdays, trips, and now that it's getting nice outside, that means we get to do really fun things outside. So if you're doing really fun outside and you want us to know about it, it's time for you to tell us about that too. Okay, so go ahead and type those in for us, and then as they come in, we'll talk about them, and then when we say our prayer together, we'll make sure to add our prayer tonight, okay? All right.
Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, left on, Father Abraham had many. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, right on, Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, left on, right foot, left foot, Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. Well, I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, left on, right foot, left foot, left foot, Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, left on, right foot, left foot, nod your head, turn! Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on, left on, right foot, nod your head, turn around, ready? Stomp your feet. Say amen, amen. 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 Jump up and down. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet. Say amen, amen. Woohoo! Wow. You guys did so good. Did we get any special prayers, Pastor Sam?
Yes, just one prayer request. Boo Boo on need to heal from Addie.
Oh, we have a boo-boo. That's no fun. I'll have to remember that when we say our prayer. Okay, you can still keep typing if you need more. If anybody else has anything they want to add, you still have some time. We're going to learn a new song tonight, and then we get to say our prayer together. So if you have one, go ahead and type it in there for us, and we'll make sure that we read it, okay? So, ready? It's a short one. Here we go.
I am small. I can't do it on my own. No, I can't do it on my own. God, you are everything, so I can't do anything with you. God, I am not afraid. God, you
job. That was awesome. So our story talks about us being small and we feel afraid. But with God, we're not alone and we can do anything. That is a really wonderful thing. Did we get any other prayer requests?
One more prayer request from Selvin. It is the end of school soon.
Woo! That is an exciting thing to be excited about. I bet you there are a lot of you that are getting pretty excited to be done with school, I bet. So let's go ahead and fold our hands, quiet our hearts, close our eyes, and let's say some prayers. Dear gracious God, thank you for bringing us together today to sing songs about you, to fill our hearts with your love, and to bring us all together here in this space. While we may not be together in person, being together here on the computer connects us with one another so that our hearts can be filled with our heavenly brothers and sisters. We ask for a couple of prayers tonight, God. We ask that you help heal boo-boos on knees and on hands and on elbows, but also heal the boo-boos of people's hearts around the world.
Yes, Lord.
We also ask, Lord, that you continue to bless those that are just about ready to finish up with their school year. Make their hands be healthy so that they can finish their papers and ace those tests, and have their hands lead them into the summer so that they can be happy and healthy and learn to grow throughout the rest of the year. Continue to bring us together here, Lord, in the next couple of weeks so that we can finish strong under your name. We love you, Lord, and thank you. Amen. Good job.
Well, thank you, Miss Roseanne. Welcome everyone to the Awana special. Memory verse tonight is, "When I am afraid, I trust in you." Psalm 56:3. Would you say that with me? When I am afraid,
When
I am afraid,
I put my trust in you.
I put my trust in you.
Psalm 56:3.
Psalm 56:3.
I have a question for you. Have you ever been dared by someone to do something? Have you ever dared someone to do something? Usually, we dare someone to do something to prove that they aren't scared. The Bible tells us to treat others better than we treat ourselves. Our story today is about someone who gave a dare, and it's found in 1 Samuel chapter 17. Goliath was his name. He thought he was tough, and he wanted to prove it. He was a big man. As a matter of fact, he was considered a giant. He stood over 9 feet tall. Goliath was very tall. Yes, Goliath was a big man, and he thought he was better and stronger than anyone, and he wanted to prove it. At this time, there was a war going on. The Philistine army was on one hill, and the Israel's army was on the other hill, and they were facing each other. Goliath wore a bronze helmet to protect his big head. He wore a bronze coat of armor, and he carried a huge spear in his hand. Goliath must have looked pretty scary, and when it was time to fight, Goliath would come out and stand on the hill and yell across to the other hill where the Israelites were camped. He dared someone to come and fight him, but no one on the Israelite side would. Every day for 40 days, Goliath dared someone in the Israelite army to come and fight him, but they would do it. They were all too afraid. 3 of the men in Israel's army were brothers. They also had a little brother named David, who was still at home taking care of his father's sheep. One day, David's father asked him to take some food to his brothers. David took the food to his brothers, and when David got there, he heard Goliath spouting off as usual, daring someone to come and fight him. And again, no one would fight Goliath. David could see that they were all afraid, but David wasn't afraid. He spoke up and said, "I'll fight Goliath." David wasn't afraid because he knew that God was with him. He remembered the times that God had helped him before. Well, once he helped him fight off a lion that was attacking his sheep. And another time, God helped him pull a lamb from the mouth of a bear. So David went and found 5 smooth stones and put them in his bag. Then he took his sling and went up to fight Goliath. And when Goliath saw David, he started to make fun of him. He said, "How dare you come and fight me with sticks and stones? Where is your sword?" Well, David stood his ground and said to him, "You may think you are tough with your sword and spear, but I have God on my side, and he is stronger than anyone." David reached into his bag and pulled out a stone. He put the stone in his sling. He slung the sling around and plunk! It hit Goliath right in the middle of the forehead, and Goliath fell to the ground. He was dead. When all the other Philistines saw that Goliath was dead, they ran away. Goliath thought that he was ready for battle, didn't he? He thought that he was the toughest, meanest, biggest, bravest soldier there ever was. He thought that he could beat anyone who came against him, didn't he? Goliath was so big and strong that he probably could have beaten any man who came against him, and he knew it. But Goliath didn't know something very important. Goliath didn't know that he would not be fighting against a man. He would be fighting against God, and we all know that no one is stronger than God. David was only a boy with no experience in fighting. He never owned a spear or a shield. He never even put on a helmet or a suit of armor. He was just a shepherd boy who watched after his father's sheep. God had been preparing David for a long time to do battle with Goliath. David knew that he wasn't fighting his battle alone. He knew that the armies of heaven were with him, and that it was God's battle and not his. David loved and obeyed God, and he knew that God was greater than anything that he would ever come up against. David knew that he had God on his side. So remember, Goliath thought he was a big, tough man, but he forgot something very important. God is stronger than anything or anyone. So when you're afraid, always put your trust in God. So thank you for joining me for the story tonight. And now I'd like to ask Pastor Sam to come up to share a few closing words with us.
Well, thank you all for being part of this reflection and prayer time, Awana special. And you know, something has been happening in our country in the last 2 weeks. The world has been in the last 3 months, and our country, our nation is hurting since May 25th. And I'm sure that you are learning about what I'm talking about from your parents, from your grandparents, and also if you're watching the news. So I invite all of us to continue to pray. Jesus, heal the world. Jesus, heal our nation. Jesus, heal our communities. Jesus, heal our streets, main streets and our own streets. Jesus, heal our marketplaces. Jesus, heal our cities, our towns, our villages. And above all, this evening we are asking Jesus to heal our own lives, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, family. So that is our prayer. And as we heard, our memory verse for today is from Psalm 56, verse 3. And that is the closing part of our prayer this evening. When we are afraid of something or someone, we always put our trust in God. Amen. So from Miss Deb, Miss Roseanne, and from Pastor Sam, have a good night, and see you all maybe 2 weeks from today. Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.